This question, Dr. Odumaki. Let me ask you, is it possible that the Constitution can help to upgrade our culture and the society? Because if this is a practice in some parts of the country, and some research shows that there are certain parts of the country, including the north, where this is being done, and it's almost a norm to do that. Can the Constitution stand in and say to women and every other person who gives their child out at this very young age that, look, you can't do this thing anymore? Where was the Constitution when they were doing it anyway?
Sorry, before she answers it, it's already a law. You can't even betroth a little girl like the practice in our villages those days. Once you are born, they betroth you to one.
But this is
you
being
can't
done.
even, by the virtue of the Child Right Act, you can't even. But because you have weak institution, these people are doing it with impunity. And so, it's a cultural thing. You have people violating sections of the Constitution with impunity,
since
and nobody is doing
2003,
anything
that
about
this
it.
Child Act,
The
Child Rights Act has been, constituted. Have you prosecuted anyone in this so-called?
Well, in light with what you have said, the law has been in place. The section 23 of the Child Rights Act stipulates punitive measure that will be meted to anyone that contravenes that. If one marries an underage, if one defiles, if one, and then
even when
that
you
person
discriminate against a child.
Even when discriminates against a child, that person is subject to 5 years imprisonment or an option of 500,000 naira as fine, or both. But like you have said, and even in our own constitution, that section 29 subsection 4A stipulates what full age means, 18 years and above. But like we have said, we have weak institutions. If the law is not enforced, if the judicial process does not take its course, it's not going to serve as a deterrent to others. And that is why we've always said it, that we have the laws do exist. But one thing is that we have to strengthen our institutions. We also have to ensure that anyone that is voted into the hallowed chambers must also respect the letters of the Constitution.
Let me quickly really come in here. You see, I'm sure the law states a lot of things about children, and then marrying them out is one of it. One other thing that begs for attention, and a lot of people have been also talking about, is what are there rules against children hawking and...
Yes.
Because that happens, we see it every day. And because...
child labor is an offense in Nigeria.
Is it?
Yes, it is an offense.
Did you see...
What do you see?
Did you buy anything in traffic on your way?
That's why I started with enforcement of our laws. That's why if you see parents, put pure water on their children's head, sometimes even at night, they are hawking on the street. And then you go to those parents and say, look, what you are doing is a criminal offense. They will tell you, if government had provided for me, this child won't be on the streets. If government had provided housing for us, they would have been somewhere. A situation where you see children contributing economically to the development of a family. A child that ought to be protected, ought to be provided for. And so, from age 3, they're already adults. And so that's why, somebody can sit down and say, presume a 2-year-old, an adult.
And let me just add to what he has said. Even in Lagos, this child rights has been passed since 2007. And the time I led a protest with several others, and the deputy governor received us on behalf of the governor, she made everyone to understand that Lagos has something called yellow card. If your child is expected to be in school, is hawking, is out of school, is an offense. And so what we just need is more enlightenment, because a lot of people are not enlightened. They don't even know what it is. They don't even know that it contravenes the law. So this law is in existence, like the people enslaving people and all other things. There's provision for it, but what we lack is enough education, enough enlightenment,
and eradication of poverty.
Yes, and because poverty really is on the rise, and more than 90% of our population live below $1 per day. So as a result, but that is no yardstick for people to abuse, these young girls. And more than 6 million of those that are expected to be in school are out of school. And let me even tell you
More
that
than 10 million.
even the definition of anyone that is married is deemed to be of full age. Somebody who is a child and somebody who is married that is an adult can sue, can be sued, should comprehend, mentally. But when you have a child, that is true now, that person cannot.
That
person
person sue.
Yes, that person cannot sue, cannot be sued.
Then
there will be liabilities again. And so all these things, this child cannot comprehend with it. And that is why we are saying that we have to stand in the gap, stand up for the girl child, and also ensure
the children that we see on the road hawking, because this begs for serious attention. They also have a certain age. Like, what age should you be allowed to go and hustle in court for your parents?
From 18.
So all these kids, because I'm sure when you drive out now, someone is going to be knocking and saying, buy my, donut or whatever they sell.
You see, all of this boils down to this kind of government that we have. That's why in the UK for like 3 years now, if a child of school age is not seen in school, is an offense. The parents would be charged for it. That's why you see children being taken away from their parents to homes where the government can truly cater for them. But even the homes that we have here, how well have we been able to manage them? And so when we talk about the right of the child, it's all encompassing. And so that's why it is easy for some people to blackmail the entire country with religion and culture. But yet we need to truly look at these laws holistically, look at the implementation of our laws. And then one good thing is here that's happening now is that we stood up for something, and then our Senates listen, they are jittery now. So that means we can truly stand up and confront these people. And because with what we have done, it shows that if we are united, we don't allow them to divide us along religious lines, along tribal lines, along political lines, along cultural lines, then we will go a long way as a nation. But otherwise, our laws will continually be abused with impunity, and then someday somebody will come and tell you, it's my culture permits it.
Which one comes first then? To face the issue of enforcement of our laws, or to begin to carry out campaigns for reorientation of our people?
We need to they should go pari passu. If you say this one comes first, we should reorientate them. In reorientating them, they would also, raise the flag of poverty to your face. And in some cases, you see it, it's glaring. And then, so when you reorientate, also you have a duty. And that's why, as a government, you have a duty also to ensure that as you're reorientating, you are uplifting the level, the standard of living of the people. And that's where also we need to come out to stand for the enforcement of the justiciability of Chapter 2 of our Constitution. Because when you say, I have a right to give you free education as at when practicable, it might never come.
It will never be practicable.
It will never be practicable because it is easy. Government is operated in a nocturnal manner. It is easy for government to tell you that, in fact, we're in deficit. We don't have money, so we cannot finance it. We can barely pay salaries. And yet they go home with jumbo salaries. They are allocating life pensions for themselves and severance package for doing nothing. Now they are on recess. They start for a few weeks and they've gone on recess for 6 weeks. Every other Nigerian is, it's working hard to feed these people. So it's a whole, big problem that we need to confront as Nigerians.
Okay, Dr. Dumake, when we look at what civil society has achieved, especially those like yourself who are activists, what has been achieved with what has happened over the last couple of weeks? You cannot but quantify it and say it's fantastic work. To bring this to the attention of the whole nation and to get the Senate President to come and sit down and present their own case and analyze it and also present it as it seems we might have erred. Where do we go from here? Because this could be a one-time high and never happen again.
I think where do we go from here is important, before I answer your questions. It's always sickening and terribly worrisome, although the level of poverty is much, when you see children hawking things on the streets. And at times, to keep them off the road, when they see people want to apprehend them, they hide somewhere. When they are off, they come back. There's a need, to engage these people. Also, make sure that what we give their guardian can be enough for them to earn a living. Again, in trying to bring this issue on the front burner, a lot of work has been done. And I think that we should not rest until we see the eventual deletion of that section 29, subsection 4B for the girl child. And in terms of reorientation, in terms of making sure that anyone who contravenes any law is made to pay for it, it has to work pari passu, so that at the end, might will not become right. But I want to say that finally, is the responsibility of all of us as citizens, as stakeholders, as those in government. All of us must ensure, if the girl child does not have a good today, it can never have a better tomorrow, and such a person can never be a leader. So if we keep them, if we nurture them, if we stand up for them when it matters, tomorrow they will look us in the face and say thank you for standing up for us when it matters.